You might have seen this guy on YouTube or TikTok doing some pretty extreme pranks around London. He's just been arrested for nuisance behaviour after his friend posted this video of him breaking into someone's house in Hackney.
James? Come to the front door right now, please.
James?
But that might not be the only video that got MIZZY into trouble. The 18-year-old has jumped into people's cars, ridden bikes through shops, and even stolen an old lady's dog before eventually giving it back to the woman who was clearly distressed.
I knew how to talk. It's my grandson.
MIZZY says he's previously been arrested over a video of him harassing Jewish people too, and he claims to have apologised to the owner of the house that he broke into the next day.
Oh, you got kids? Oh, sorry.
But he insists he's not a criminal and doesn't regret many of his attempted pranks.
Social to share this everywhere.
What he has got is a lot of people's attention, which has led to police investigating him and MPs calling his videos abhorrent. And judging from the comments, many among his thousands of viewers think this attempted prankster has taken the joke way too far.
Let's talk about it. Understand the prank side of it. I'm all about not taking everything seriously, but there's some limits, and in that case we're gonna talk about it because it's on social media, and I do believe that being a creative out there and having a voice online, it's all about standing your ground and being able to talk about things that actually have gone wrong. And in that case, let's get into some information here. Real name, Bokari Bronze Ogaro, the 18-year-old was filmed being detained by an officer in plain clothes on the roof of a building before being led away. The prankster had earlier this week appeared in Thames Magistrates Court after entering a frightened family's home without permission. I'm gonna show you the TikTok video. The judge gave Ogaro a 2-year criminal behavior order and told him he can never upload a video again without the permission of all those appearing in it, if it was just about it. He was also ordered to pay a fine of £200, as well as a victim surcharge of £80 and cost of £85. After this morning's arrest, which he filmed and put on his Twitter page, a spokesman for Met Police said on Friday, 26 May, officers arrested an 18-year-old man on suspicion of breach of a criminal behavior order. So it's for attention, obviously. But let's get to a couple of TikTok videos that he made and he was so proud of making.
WTF, this is too mad and too far.
James? Come to the front door right now, please.
James?
James. Hi.
You man, come.
Hello, James.
We need to speak to James.
James.
Huh.
Hi. James.
Is this where the study group is?
No. No. What door number is this? No.
Study group.
5:30. Well,
Wait, this is not where the study group is?
got kids, man.
Oh, you got kids? Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought this was the study group. I actually thought. And this is the study group. What the?
Everything is wrong about it. Everything. How can you get into the house of somebody you don't even know nothing about? The audacity about it is just blowing my mind. And it is because it's in England, because I just think in United States where mostly everybody has a gun, the family having kids. I'm telling you, we talked about it with my boyfriend and he was like, if he was the one getting in my house with our kids, it would be dead.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
To have the courage to get into somebody's house, to film everything, to be so comfortable, to do that. But it's social media. I find it more important to talk about those kind of things because we're talking about the great side about making money online and being able to make a living online. But we forget really fast that the younger generation sees every type of opportunity. Let's see a couple of things that he said, during an interview that he had with Piers Morgan before even getting to the video where he talked about other things. And it's really important to point a couple of things out of just reading it for you. Speaking to Morgan, the prankster was asked, what has been motivating to you to terrorize the people having around where you live? He replied, I wouldn't really call it terrorizing, I'll just call it having more fun. There's ways to have fun out there, right? And social media is just displaying all of those things that worse and worse by the minute at this point. And TikTok has been a platform where I'm personally not on there that much. Started to be on there, but it's not the thing that I like the most. Literally spend my days being on YouTube and watching videos. More deeper, it's more interesting. I had a colleague, he was talking about his girlfriend spending hours, 4 hours minimum on TikTok on weekends, and she wouldn't even realize it. The numerous things that you watch on this platform that just don't make sense, that are absurd to say the least. It's incredible. And I'm not saying that because some are on TikTok, they're all not necessarily the smartest of them all. No, I'm saying it's the intention behind it. And when you get to start with having more fun, you know where it's gonna end. It's not gonna end up being something very much helpful that you're gonna do on any type of platform, not just at TikTok. You can have more fun playing video games, soccer with your friends. I don't know. It's really important to be so intentional when you get on videos, when you get on social media, because if you're not careful, you end up wasting more time than anything else. The more you spend time on social media not doing anything helpful, the more you're getting exposed to things that don't serve you, the more you're doing things that don't make sense for you, and the more depressed you're gonna get. And that's why when I help people, my clients, being online, having a voice online, it's all about being so much more intentional than having fun and being able to point out things that have gone wrong. Then he said that UKLOs are weak, simple as when asked how he was able to get off so lightly with the bizarre stunts. Morgan then asked a lot of the stuff that you do could have consequences for more serious, but you don't care, do you? As long as you get a laugh. Ogero replied, of course I care, I have remorse. He then said he is his own person and I'm legally an adult now, so I can do what I want. This is the thing I talked about in one of my videos regarding Disney and where we are coming from to where we are now as far as movies are going, or what we see in movies, what we see online, what we see even in the entertainment industry. Probably gonna talk more about that because it impacts us regardless of what we do, right? We are more used to binge watch Netflix show and any type of thing online than being outside and actually do things that matter for the most part. Being able to do whatever you want, and you doing whatever you want leads to you getting into houses of people you don't know nothing about, strangers, and potentially you getting hurt or hurt those people. Talking about the law being weak in England, he knows his things. He knows what he's doing. He's aware of what he's doing. When you get to put people like that on social media and not having to set structure, this is what we have. And this is what we have as far as everything on social media, everything on the content creation part. Because we're getting to a point where we don't set any limits anymore. We can say whatever we want without real consequences. Whatever freedom you get, it impacts somebody else. When you live in a society, you can't do whatever you want. You have to respect your neighbors. You have to be able to take out your trash when it's too much. You have to be able to not let your trash in front of the door if you live in the building, because you know anybody else can be bothered by that, by the smell or anything else. But when you get to see what we see online, with the content that we see more and more, we see less and less limits. We see less and less structure. But we see more of do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You are your own person. It's about you, you, and only you. This is where we're getting even more selfish. When you see the content online, this is how I see it. And when you get to have a voice online, it's about even being aware of that. Getting out there to really being able to share something. In fact, in a good way, right? Because the access to social media is so low. You just need a phone and internet, which you can find everywhere. I'm coming from Cameroon. We do have internet, but you have a limited access to those things, right? You have a limited access to what you can do. And the education that we get is so much more strict than sometimes I would have found it way too strict back then, but when I see what I see today, I'm like, that worked. When you get today, you know your limits and you know that the first thing is the respect. And with that illusion of freedom, you don't get to respect other people because you care about you and your own needs and your own desires. Everybody gets to each other to get something out of them. And this is the connection we have today. Not to give, but more so to get. And social media entertainment industry is portraying that through the movies, through the content we're watching more and more. I stopped watching so many new shows because I see more and more of that idea of doing whatever you want. It's just for fun. It's all about having fun. Okay, let's all have fun and let's see where it's gonna get us, right? We see where we are today, but we want to blame everybody. We want to blame a system for it. When the system is not the problem, it's the individual the problem. But if we don't get back to the individual, the mind of every single person in that group, nothing is gonna work. We can keep focusing on the groups. But if we don't focus on the individual, a lot of people like him, they're gonna appear and show up more and more and being so proud of it. So proud of it. But now, let's get to the last part where he had the interview with Piers Morgan.
What family make of what you've been doing?
What do my family make? Well, I don't chat to my mum anymore. And
why not?
Why not? Because I just don't talk to her. It's irrelevant to you, but I just don't chat to her, innit? Say that, I'm telling you.
I think you felt bad.
No, see, interrupt me. Why are you interrupting me? I'm talking.
I'm talking. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm talking.
Carry on being an idiot.
Okay, we are siding the districts every time.
I'm actually not going to call you MIZZY because it's obviously a stage. I'll call you Bakari Bronze, right?
All right.
Bakari Bronze, let's try and talk to each other as human beings.
All right, Piers
Morgan. Yeah, I'm trying to understand why there's no real remorse here. Why do you not understand
what do you mean why there's no real remorse?
Consequences of your actions
I went to go apologise off social media. I could have recorded that apology and that would have been another viral video. Whether it's hate or whatever, literally, hate brings money, hate brings likes, hate brings views. It doesn't matter. Love or hate, it still brings views.
There are two things. One, not having real connections out there, not having real family or real solid connections and relationships can give you the illusion that all the attention that you get online, no matter and regardless of it being bad or good, is still attention. So you're gonna grasp it, you're gonna go for it. It's addictive to have those views, it's addictive to have those likes, it's addictive to have those comments. Because the more you're doing shocking things, the more it's getting shared online. This is social media today, right? Where the more you have to shock, the more you're getting to be visible. Right? Could be a good and a bad way, just like him. His mom or his sister having those broken relationships can lead you to have such a lack of confidence within yourself that you're gonna find a way to fill up that hole. You're gonna find a way to fill up that hole because it's so accessible and so easy to get online on social media. You're gonna grasp it online. One of the things that we have less and less is the shame. We have a lot of people that could be great showing up online, but they are so not confident about it. They don't know what to say. And you have people like him that can show up online with nothing to say, but everything to not say or everything to not do. What could you have done if you were put on other situation? You could have done something worse. It's a path, it's a step to something else. It's a step to something that could be worse. It's not to get better because you can see through that interview that he doesn't necessarily care. A part of me believes that him looking for that attention is for him to be like, you know what, I'm here, I exist, I do matter, because he feels like it doesn't matter at all. Creatives, we have that tendency being really sensitive to people pain or people's stories or people's situations, and I'm like that. It comes down to what God wants for you and the love that God has for you. It's so important, and say that enough. It's very important, very, very important. So when you have a kid like that, not only he needs a family and real friends and real relationships, really deep in my heart that he needs God's love in a way. Being loved through the punishment of him doing what he did, it's love enough. Because if you don't get punished for what you're doing, people don't love you enough, right? And that's why it's important to have a structure, because when you do something that you shouldn't do, it's not about the freedom, it's about respecting other people, and have your freedom as much as everybody else, right? So there's a limit to it. We don't want to admit it nowadays, but there's a limit. Like, I don't want to tell you, there's a limit. It's helping to get views. It's gonna help him to get even more views. It's not about him, it's about everybody thinking like him. Everybody having that necessity to be seen so much, pointing him out. But it's not about him. Everybody, every individual being like him in that context can potentially do that kind of thing. And now he got the attention that he wanted because I'm not the only one to talk about him. Certainly not. Sometimes I wish I wouldn't talk about people like that. To not even give them more attention, because I know from the get-go that attention is what they seek. Views, getting more views, or the idea of getting more views always would get you to have the worst ideas ever, to me personally. If you're not intentional here online on social media, everything you're gonna see is gonna be so much more confusing and so much more getting you to go astray from where you really want to go. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a structure, if you don't have that set, you're gonna get so confused and so lost here, because everything is online now. And you have every type of person online. That's why it's so important to talk about those things more and more. It's not about how to be more creative, it's about how to say and solve those problems and come up with solutions. This is a really great part about being creative. And just you speaking up, standing up for those things is enough for people to start getting that wake-up call. It's not about people, it's about you. It's that desire to be seen. This is something you don't get outside of social media. If your whole life is on social media, this is what you're gonna get. I'm having a strong stand against kids being on social media.
For me, my kids don't have a phone, and my daughter's the only 11-year-old in her class that doesn't have one.
Wow.
It's hard. A lot of my friends, they have their kids on TikTok, and I don't. And, you know, I told Willow, I said, that doesn't just move my needle. They're not my kids. You're my kid. There's a lot of eyes on her, too. She has a little watch. She can text me if she needs to get picked up a little later or sooner. And she has all the emergency stuff. But I told her point blank, if you can produce literature for me from a reputable source that tells me that social media is good for you, then you can be on it.
You have to be close to the kids to not lose him. You see that online. You see this kid online. He's doing that. He's getting views. He's getting comments. He's getting attention. What do you think is going to happen to you and your ideas? What do you think is going to happen to your mind and your thoughts? You're going to be like, wait a minute. I know it's not a good thing what he did, but it still did it. It still got to his goal to be seen, to have that attention that he desired for so long. So why can I not do that? Wait, could be a good idea. And then you're innovating it by adding things that actually can be worse. So no, sometimes structure is the way. Freedom is not what you think it is. Freedom like that is the illusion. You staying captive, you staying addicted. It's an addiction that you feel like you have the freedom over, but it's always that need to do more, to add more, to do more, to shock, to amplify. And that's how the algorithm works. That's how social media works. If you do things at the beginning that are not that bad, you need to add up more to impress, to shock. You always need to add up more. So imagine if he was not getting arrested. Now it's gonna be banned, I think, from TikTok and most social media platforms, if I'm correct. But that's a good thing. I think he needs a break. He needs a break. He needs to, you know, think about his life. He needs to reconsider his choices. I would say it like that. But if you're being a creative and if it's something that you like, me commenting on that type of thing, comment, let me know what you want to see next. I'm having fun really commenting on things like that. I really hope you liked it. Definitely subscribe if you did, like if you did even more. And I'm gonna see you for my next video. And like I say all the time, smile because it's free and contagious in a good way. Bye!